Have you ever wished you could hold on to every piece of knowledge that matters to you? Maybe you've studied for hours, only to find the answers slipping away when you need them most. Or you've read an inspiring book, but weeks later, only fragments remain in your mind. It's frustrating, isn't it? You put in the time, the effort, the energy, yet the results don't seem to stick. The truth is, memory isn't just about how smart you are. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained, strengthened, and sharpened. Your brain is capable of holding far more than you think. It just needs the right approach. Think of your mind as a vast library. Every day you're adding new books to its shelves, ideas, experiences, lessons, facts. But without a system, those books get lost in the wrong aisles, buried under dust, or misplaced entirely. The key to remembering isn't to simply cram more information in, it's to store it in a way that makes it easy to find again. Today, I'm going to walk you through a set of powerful practical steps, 5 in total, that will help you remember more and forget less. These steps aren't complicated. They're not about memorizing endless lists or using tricks you'll forget tomorrow. Instead, they focus on how your brain actually works, how it likes to store information, and how you can work with it rather than against it. Whether you're a student preparing for an exam or a professional learning new skills, these principles will work for you. Even if you're simply someone who wants to hold on to life's lessons, they can change the way you learn. We'll talk about focus, understanding, repetition, creativity, and the habits that make memory stronger every single day. By the end, you'll have a clear and simple framework you can start using right away. Once you put it into practice, you'll see just how much your mind is truly capable of. So take a deep breath, clear away the distractions, and let's step into the art of remembering everything. Because your brain is ready for more than you've ever given it credit for. And starting today, you're going to unlock its full potential. Step 1. Focus like your memory depends on it. Because it does. The first and most important key to remembering anything is to give it your full, undivided attention. We live in a world that constantly fights for our focus. Phones buzzing, notifications flashing, thoughts about yesterday, worries about tomorrow. And when your attention is scattered, your memory suffers. You might think you're absorbing information while glancing at your phone, but what's really happening is that the door to your memory is only half open, and through that half-open door, only fragments slip in. When you truly focus, you swing that door wide open. You allow your brain to take in more, connect more, and hold more. So start by creating the conditions for deep focus. Put your phone on silent, or better yet, in another room. Find a quiet place, clear away unnecessary clutter from your desk. These little changes send a signal to your brain. This matters. Pay attention. While you're reading, listening, or studying, imagine you'll have to teach the material to someone else later. This simple shift turns passive learning into active engagement. You stop letting the words pass over you and instead start pulling them into your understanding. Slow down. Don't rush to finish a page or a video just to check it off your list. Let your mind walk with the idea, turn it over, ask questions. Why is this important? How does it connect to what I already know? And here's something important. Your mind will wander. It's normal. The skill isn't in never losing focus. It's in noticing when you do and gently bringing yourself back. Each time you do that, you strengthen the attention muscle in your brain. And the stronger it is, the more it rewards you with lasting memories. Step 2. Understand before you try to remember. Here's the truth. Your brain doesn't like to hold on to meaningless data. You can repeat a fact 50 times, but if it doesn't mean anything to you, it's like trying to plant seeds in concrete. They won't take root. Understanding is the fertile soil where memory grows. Before you try to memorize, slow down and make sure you truly get it. Ask yourself, what does this really mean? Explain it in your own words, as if you were telling it to a friend who's never heard it before. If you can't do that yet, that's your signal. You need to dig deeper. Connect the new idea to something you already know. If you're learning a new word, link it to other words, to an image, or to a personal experience. If it's a concept, see where it fits into the bigger picture. Think of your mind as a web. Each connection you make adds another strand, and the more strands there are, the stronger the web becomes. And don't be afraid to seek different angles. Watch a short video, look up an example, or ask someone else to explain it in a different way. Sometimes a new perspective is all it takes for everything to click. When you understand, memorizing stops feeling like forcing something into your brain. It starts feeling like adding a piece to a puzzle you already see. Step 3. Make it yours. Simple words, strong images, and stories. Once you understand something, the next step is to make it stick by making it yours. Your brain loves what feels familiar, personal, and vivid. It struggles with long, complicated definitions and dry lists, but it thrives on simplicity and imagery. So take the concept and put it into your own language. Don't try to sound like the book. Sound like you. The way you would actually explain it out loud is the way your brain will hold on to it best. Then add images, whether real or imagined. If you're learning a list, turn it into something strange and memorable. Need to remember milk, bread, and apples? Picture a loaf of bread wearing an apple hat floating in a river of milk. The sillier, the better. Your brain remembers unusual things more easily than ordinary ones. You can also link facts together with a short story. Stories give information a beginning, middle, and end, a path your memory can follow. Instead of remembering disconnected points, you remember the journey. And here's the beauty of it. When learning is creative and even a little fun, it stops feeling like a chore. Your brain leans in instead of pulling away. It gets excited, and when your brain is engaged, it keeps information for far longer. Step 4. Repeat with purpose. The power of spaced repetition. If there's one truth about memory, it's this. What you don't revisit, you lose. Our brains are brilliant at processing new information, but they're also efficient. If the brain thinks you won't need something, it quietly moves it to the recycle bin. The way to stop that from happening is simple, but incredibly powerful. Repetition. But not just any repetition. Repeating something over and over in a single session might help you remember it for a few hours, but it will fade fast. The real magic happens when you spread your reviews out over time, a method called spaced repetition. Here's how it works. You learn something new today. Tomorrow, you review it briefly. A few days later, you revisit it again. Then maybe a week later, you go over it once more. Each time you bring that information back into your awareness, you're telling your brain, "This is important. Keep it." With every review, the memory grows stronger until it becomes something you can recall without effort. Think about how you learned the lyrics to your favorite song. You didn't sit down and sing it 100 times in one day. You heard it now and then, on the radio in the background, humming it to yourself. And over time, without even trying, you knew every word. That's spaced repetition in action. You don't need to spend hours on it. Even a few minutes of review can be enough, as long as you come back to it at the right intervals. It's not about the length of your study sessions. It's about timing them so your brain has a chance to strengthen the pathways to that information. When you make spaced repetition a habit, learning stops being a desperate attempt to cram before you forget. It becomes a steady layering of knowledge, each review adding another coat of paint, making the memory brighter and more permanent. Step 5. Engage more of your brain. Write it, teach it, live it. If you want to remember something deeply, don't just keep it in your head. Get it out into the world. One of the simplest ways to do this is to write it down by hand. In a world full of keyboards and screens, handwriting may seem slow, but that's exactly why it works. It forces you to process the information, choose the right words, and physically shape each letter. This extra effort makes the memory stick. But why stop there? Once you've written it, try teaching it. Teaching is like stress testing your knowledge. When you explain an idea to someone else, whether it's a friend, a family member, or even yourself in the mirror, you're forced to organize your thoughts. You also have to fill in the gaps and make the concept clear. And every time you do, the memory gets stronger because you're using it actively instead of letting it sit unused. If you can, bring the information into your daily life. Use a new word you've learned in conversation. Apply a new technique at work. Test a new fact in real situations. This turns knowledge from something abstract into something living, woven into your experience. You can make this step even more powerful by involving your senses. Write in different colors, draw a quick diagram, say the key points out loud. If it's something physical, like learning the names of spices, hold them, smell them, taste them as you learn. Every sense you involve creates another pathway to the memory, making it easier to find later. When you combine writing, teaching, and sensory experience, you're no longer just memorizing. You're building a deep, lasting connection to the knowledge. It stops being something you studied once and becomes something you own. We've covered a journey, 5 steps that can transform the way you remember. From focusing with intention to truly understanding what you learn, every step matters. From making it personal with images and stories to strengthening it with spaced repetition, the process becomes even more powerful. You engage more of your brain through writing, teaching, and using your senses. Then, by bringing that knowledge into your daily life, you turn learning into lasting change. It stops being something you study once and forget. It becomes a part of who you are and how you think. The truth is, memory isn't a gift you either have or don't have. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows stronger the more you use it in the right way. When you focus, you plant the seed. When you understand, you give it soil. When you repeat, you water it. When you teach and live it, you let it grow deep roots. No one is born remembering everything. Those who seem to have great memories have learned how to work with their brain instead of against it. And now, you have the same tools. The next time you learn something important, don't let it fade into the background. Take a moment, apply these steps, and watch how much more stays with you. Not just for a day, but for weeks, months, and years. Your mind is capable of more than you realize. Treat it well, train it daily, and it will serve you for a lifetime. Because the ability to remember isn't just about storing information. It's about keeping the lessons, the knowledge, and the wisdom that shape who you are and who you can become.